Welcome to the Business Spotlight podcast. My name is Kay Cote, and I'm your host of today's episode. And today on the show, I have Elo Mukoro, co-founder of Credentials, as my guest. We're going to be learning about his business, his journey to business ownership, best practices, and challenges that he's faced to give you that inside look to what it's like to build and operate a business. Welcome, Elo. So great to meet you. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Great to meet you as well, and super excited to be a part of the podcast today.
Yes, we're going to dive into a great episode. But before we dive into all things business, I would love to share with the audience a bit about you. So take us back as far as you'd want and share a bit about yourself.
So my name is Elo. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas. I am also a Nigerian American. And a little bit about my story, it starts really when I was in college. I come from a Nigerian American household, and that household is very strict. And mainly what we know is, oh, you're either a lawyer, you're a doctor, you're an engineer. So I was pursuing chemical engineering. And I pursued that till I realized that I didn't too much like that. I think I wanted to actually create. I've always wanted to create and build something of my own. And that's when I started to branch out and learn how to code. I started learning about blockchain, cryptography, etc. Even attending hackathons. And this is all going on while I'm in college during the COVID period, right? So we had a lot of free time to go into these new endeavors. And from doing that, I started to win some of these hackathons, and I got a job at this company called the Ethereum Foundation, which is a very like prestigious crypto company in the space. If you're familiar with Ethereum and the blockchain. And from there, I started to learn about a new technology called zero knowledge proofs, which is a cryptographic technology. And that's what segued me into actually building out Credentials, which is the business I work on today. And what we do at Credentials is we provide verification infrastructure for financial institutions using zero knowledge proofs. So, yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing a bit about your backstory and just like really honoring what you wanted to do and having the courage to do that. So, okay, tell me about Credentials. How did you come across this as your business? What inspired that?
So yeah, actually, what inspired that is when I was in college. See, everything started from college. My co-founder and I, we've actually been best friends for about 15 years, but we were freelancing. We were actually we started a website business, and we were making money from various angles. But when we actually tried to get credit, it was a very cumbersome process because we were not a standard W-2 earner. So that just stayed in our minds like, okay, it's very difficult for people that earn outside of the system to actually access credit. And I know that this is a bigger problem even outside of the United States as well, where credit infrastructure isn't as robust. So it was when I started to work for the Ethereum Foundation where I learned about the technology zero knowledge proofs, which is a verification technology that allows you to verify anything that exists on the web without actually revealing the underlying data itself. And this was super interesting. And I was like, oh, okay, so maybe we can actually use this technology to be a actual verification layer for individuals and businesses globally so we can help make access to credit a lot easier, really financial services in general. It extends past credit. So that's a little bit about Credentials and what we do there and how we got into it.
That is super cool. Now, what stage are you at in the company now? Are you developing? Are you selling? Are you marketing? Like, what's kind of your main thing right now?
Yeah, so we are piloting right now. So we're working with a couple of businesses around the globe, and we are verifying data from various platforms to help them with their lending operations, right? So, yeah, that's what we're doing mainly right now, piloting.
Piloting. That's incredible. So now it's you and a co-founder. Are there any other team members you currently have, or what's that look like?
So we actually have two other team members.
Right.
One who is our lead engineer, James, who is from Vietnam, and I met him while I was in Vietnam. And we also have a head of marketing. Her name is Dada, and she's in Kenya, and I'm actually currently in Kenya. We met them about 2 years ago, so that's our full team. Four, small but mighty.
All but mighty, and that's what matters. That's incredible. Okay, so now take me through the next, like, say, 1 to 3 years of your company. Where is it? Where do you have plan for it to go?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Um, Yeah, so of course we don't know what the future beholds, but from my perspective and with what we're building, and I spoke about this a little previously, but um, when it comes to people accessing credit at acceptable rates outside of the United States, it is not the best, right? Interest rates are over 20%, over sometimes 40%, right? And it can be pretty ridiculous. And you have individuals and you have businesses that are actually making money, that are actually credible, that are not able to access this stuff. And it causes for them to have to undergo a lot of pressures, right, in the economy. And basically, what we want to do with credentials is be that verification layer for any business, any person that is earning online inside the United States, outside of the United States. And we want to be able to verify this data and prove it by putting it on the blockchain, right? And having it to where any lender or liquidity provider can look at this data that exists on the blockchain and actually lend to these businesses or individuals at lower interest rates than what they're currently used to. So we want to bridge that gap and making access to capital a lot easier outside, just globally. And I think that is the North Star. I think we're gonna start doing a lot of these things this year towards the Q3, Q4, but for it to really take off, I do believe that that would be like a 2, 3 year mission.
Definitely. Well, it sounds like you've got your ducks in a row, ready to go with the business and then build it out. So, let's talk a little bit about competition or competitors. Are there any competitors, like direct competitors in the market? And if so, how are you setting yourself apart?
Yeah, so you do have some competitors that exist. You know, in America, you've heard of Plaid, which they verify like bank account information. There's others like Argyle, which is closer to us, and they verify like payroll data as well as gig work and things of that sort. Where we differ from both of these platforms, one, we consider ourselves kind of Plaid extended. So we can connect to bank accounts, but we connect to platforms like, payment gateways like Stripe, PayPal, e-com sites like Shopify, social medias like YouTube, etc. Even ride-hailing platforms like Uber. So we do a lot of that. And on top of that, we use a technology that is different called zero knowledge proofs. So why this is very different than what is currently used is what zero knowledge proofs allows you to do is we can verify that we know a certain piece of information without actually seeing it. And where this actually matters is when the user actually logs in to, let's say, Shopify to get their data verified, we actually cannot even see or access their login credentials at all, which is different from our competitors. We don't have access or any liability when it comes to that perspective. And yeah, they can log in a privacy preserving way, and then we just verify the data. So I'd say those are like the two main reasons that we're different. And third is we also are leveraging blockchain technology. By putting this information on the blockchain, we are expanding from just working with like businesses in the US or businesses in Europe. We can actually work with businesses globally and individuals globally. So yeah, those are the main differentiators with what we do compared to like our competitors.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. I mean, there was definitely some perks in there that it sounded like. what sets you all apart. And so now let's look at your kind of like your structure around marketing. So where are you at in the marketing journey right now? We'll start there.
Yeah, so marketing is super interesting. I'd say today like technology is not as big of a moat today. I think it's more distribution. So marketing is super huge for us. And how we go about it right now is we do a couple of things. We have a great marketing person on our team who creates great content, copy, and design, who posts on our LinkedIn and our social medias. That's one. Two, we're doing a lot of co-marketing, or we're ramping up these co-marketing efforts with the people that are in our pilot program so that we can increase our area or our like range and attract more businesses that way as well. Three, we also do stuff like email newsletters, which are really cool. We try to send one out once a month. Um, and yeah, I would say those are the main ways that we're doing marketing right now. A lot on ourselves, but two, we're doing a lot of partnership marketing tactics right now to increase our range.
Okay, okay, incredible. Now, right now, let's talk about this, the pilot program. So, w- how much, so tell me about the pilot program or what you can share about it. Is it a focus group? How many members are in it? Kind of like what's your goal with that?
Yeah, so our pilot program is the reason we're doing that is because this technology is quite new and we really need to onboard more like design partners to help us kind of like design the actual implementation of the technology to fit their use cases. So our pilot program right now is about like six different businesses. So it's not super huge, but it's these are like well-established businesses with traction, etc. And the main things that we're doing in this pilot programs are one, we're verifying ride-hailing like drivers to help them get access to credit in South Africa. So we're verifying from a platform like Uber to help people get access to credit. That's one of the pilots that are is live right now. Two is we're also working to verify Shopify store owners' inventory data as well as their revenue. And what we're doing here is we're putting this data on chain and we're connecting them to a set of lenders and liquidity providers who are interested in lending to these businesses who want to do inventory financing, revenue-based financing, or affiliate financing. And those are like two of the main types of pilots we're running right now. And the other businesses that are in the pilot are just extensions of that. So yeah.
Okay, that's incredible. Now, looking at um the program, how long do you plan to run the pilot program?
Yeah, so the pilot program will be about like 2 to 3 months
Okay.
before we convert it.
And then when you convert it, those become clients, the folks that are in it. Is that the goal or is it how does that work?
So they're already clients. So it's a paid pilot. But I would say the after these 3 months, it will be more contractual, like, hey, let's sign like an annual agreement,
Mm.
and go from there. Right.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. Now, with that, with the paid pilot, and then these are clients. Now, what is your plan in terms of your employees? Do you plan to bring more people on, or you want to stay the small but mighty team?
So this is a very interesting question, especially today in the age of AI. I ask myself this question all the time. Um, So I we do want to, remain small, but I also do recognize that we do need more people to grow,
Mm.
mainly when it comes to sales. So these are people that are reaching out to various cust or clients or ICPs for us, especially when we're trying to target people in LATAM. Actually, none of us speak Spanish, so on our cold reach or our cold outreach efforts. it's hard for us to get responses. So like hiring someone that can help with that, for instance. So sales is big, but we're also probably gonna hire a little bit more in the engineering end just to help our one engineer out. I would love to hire like two more just to increase our productivity and efficiency when it comes to the technology side. But other than that, I think we can definitely leverage AI a lot within our business, and we already do. And I make sure to tell my team, like, hey, like, use AI. It's okay. Like, experiment with it. Try and make your life more, like, make your life easier and your job more efficient. So, yeah, that's where we want to stay small, but we do want to leverage AI to help.
Definitely. And now this one, I love this question because it is one that every business owner faces. And so we love to just shed light on just different things that businesses go through to help us all grow. So, what is something you're currently challenged with in the business, and how are you overcoming that?
Yeah, so something that I am challenged with, it's a good question. There's so many challenges in business. Um, but I would say a challenge of mine actually is walking an uncharted path. Now, you could say the same, like mo most business are walking an uncharted path, but it's also different because we're using technology that people are not necessarily as familiar with. And advice that I can give for a business owner that might find themselves in a position like ours is one, you really just want to find your champions. So there's a lot of people that, will entertain the idea, but they're not very serious about what you're building. And that can cause you to waste a lot of time, money, resources. So when you're actually trying to find those first few initial businesses to work with, find people that like are your champion. They're super excited to use it. They're messaging you all the time, not the other way around. And yeah, these are the people that you're actually going to grow with in your business. And that is what I started to find out with our business, maybe like 6 months in, where we started, we finally started interacting with businesses that are super excited to use our product and eager, and it's really made all the difference.
Yeah, find your champions. That's really, really good advice. Wonderful. Well, this has been a great conversation. Now I want to take us through the rapid fire Q&A. Just answer very top of mind. First question is, what is a key to success for you?
Yeah, for me, the key to success is having three freedoms. This is just my opinion. One, there's financial freedom, and that's what most people know. But I think there's two other freedoms that really kind of lead to success, and I think success is happiness too. But so it's financial freedom, location freedom, being able to go wherever you want in the world, and the third one is time freedom, being able to do what you want when you want. Now, if you can tackle those three things, I think for me and my view of life, like that is you're very successful in that standpoint. But it all boils down to being happy, honestly.
Definitely. Number two is, what is a piece of advice you have for other business owners?
A piece of advice. Good question. I'd say so for other CEOs, I think, or really just under founders in general, the world is changing so much. AI is here, blockchains are here, and eventually quantum is going to be here. So technology is should not be the moat. I would say don't focus too much on the technology. Focus more on the distribution. That what that
Mhm.
means is go out there, meet people, form relationships, increase your network, shake hands. That is honestly the way that you will fast track your business more than you building the best product out there.
Definitely. Great thoughts. I love that. Number three, this is a fun one. It could be a podcast, an article, or a book, something that's just resonated with you recently.
Yeah, actually, a book that I would recommend founders to read, and it relates to distribution, is called Founder Brand, The Founder Brand. Forgot who it's by, but The Founder Brand, if you look that up, you should find it. Why that book is super impactful for me is it really just, gave me the outlook on how to build that distribution, right? So it talked about, you need to post on your socials like and be consistent, like at 5 times a week, something like that. And two, you can actually start a podcast, which is something that we've been doing as well. We've started a podcast called the CR3 Pod, and it actually helps with the distribution piece because every 2 weeks or every one week, we make a podcast video. We bring on maybe a client of ours or a partner or someone that we find interesting, have a conversation, and then you can now repurpose that content for months on end. And you just clip it into small little clips and just keep on posting it and rotating it. And people are gonna like listen because they see that you're consistent about something. They're gonna watch your podcast and learn things. And yeah, we've been finding that to be a cheat code, honestly.
Nice. Dig that. Now the last question. Now this one take your time on. If I were to hand you a magic wand and you overnight could change one element of your business, anything you want for the better, what would it be?
Magic wand, and I can change one thing about my business. Hmm. That is a good question. Mm, I think the one of the things that I'd love to change the most about my business right now is switching our and this takes time, but moving from a cold outreach perspective to more of inbound to where like a bunch of your ICPs and your clients are actually coming to you. So if we can wave a magic wand and that can happen, that would be great because cold outreach is humbling, but it's also a good sign that, if people are actually willing to interact with you and then pay, then you probably have a product worth buying. So yeah, it has its pros and cons, but that's what I'd wish for.
Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that. Let's hope you get that started and connect folks with your company. So how can people can connect with you and your company online?
Yeah, so if you want to connect with the company, you can actually visit our website at www.credentials. So that's CR3 and then regular credentials.xyz. Or you can also just find us on socials. We're active on X, same thing, credentials, and on LinkedIn, credentials. And then you can follow me on socials as well. So my LinkedIn, you can just type in Elo Mukoro with my name and you should be able to find me there. I love to post a bunch of things about the company as well as AI and all the things happening and the things I've discussed in this pod. So yeah, that's the way that I'd say you can find us.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Alo, for our final question today. What is most inspiring to you today?
Yeah, that's a great question. These are good questions. What is most inspiring to me today? Mm, I think what inspires me most is just to see how much more creative people can be now that AI has kind of removed a bunch of the obstacles when it comes to actually being able to create and build. So it's amazing to, go on X or go on LinkedIn and start to see all these people like, that maybe they don't have coding experience or maybe they're not domain experts in a certain field, but they just get up and then they actually start to create something and build. And I think that's super inspiring. I think as a human, we're meant to be creative, and seeing a lot of people's creative chakras opening up is just super exciting and inspiring to me, and it just makes me want to keep building.
That is inspiring. Well, Alo, thank you so much for sharing your story and coming in from all the way over in Africa. That was awesome. Thanks for being
Um,
on the show today.
Thank you so much. It was a great pod. Loved it.